You're here because you feel it, right? That deep in your bones exhaustion, that suspicion, that kind of hollow feeling inside. It's that sense that your good intentions have been twisted and used against you, and your kindness has been treated like some kind of all-access pass. Well, let's get into it. Let's build a playbook so that never, ever happens again. See, this stuff doesn't just pop up overnight. The roots go deep. Think about it. Maybe at age 7, love started to feel like a transaction when you heard, "If you really loved me, you'd clean your room." Then at 12, a friend lies to you and you just laugh it off, but a tiny piece of your trust cracks. And by 16, you've pretty much mastered saying yes just to keep the peace, not realizing that every single one of those yeses is chipping away at your own spine. That's the conditioning. So before we go any further, just take a second and ask yourself this. When did you first mistake control for care? When did saying no start to feel like you were holding a live grenade, just terrified to pull the pin? Just hold that thought. All right, so let's break this down. First up, the manipulation trap. This is where we diagnose the problem, where we look at exactly how your best qualities, your empathy, your desire to help, get turned into a cage without you even noticing. And this quote, man, it just nails it, doesn't it? You keep feeding wolves, hoping they'll magically turn into lambs. You keep giving and hoping and making excuses for them. It's that boss who guilt trips you into working late, calling it a team effort. Or that partner who just sulks until you finally fold, making their happiness your full-time job. You tell yourself, oh, they're just stressed, but what if them needing you is actually their weapon? And here's what it really boils down to. The problem is almost always kindness without boundaries. It's like leaving out a welcome mat for vultures. Your empathy, when it's not protected, becomes a massive vulnerability. And listen, this isn't a flaw in your kindness. It's just a lack of a fence around it. Okay, but this is where it all starts to change. This is where the solution begins. Your power isn't in trying to change them. It's in what you permit. Reclaiming your life, your sovereignty, it starts the very second you decide what you will and will not allow. So how do we actually do that? Well, we start by seeing the game clearly. In this next section, we're going to get a little Machiavellian. Not to become cruel ourselves, but to get razor-sharp clarity about the language that's being used against you. It's time to learn their script. You need to think of this as your personal translation guide, because manipulators, they speak in code. So when your boss says, "We're a family here," what you should hear is, "Your unpaid overtime is expected." When someone says, "You're the only one who really understands me," the translation is, "This is a cage designed to make you responsible for my feelings." And, oh yeah, the classic, "After all I've done for you." That's not a gift, my friend. That's a ledger, and they expect you to repay every single entry. And let's be super clear about this. This isn't about becoming cold or cynical. It's about having the guts to see things as they are, not as you wish they were. Seeing the transaction, seeing the cage, seeing the ledger, that's not pessimism. That's clarity. Now that we can see the game, it's time to build your playbook. This next part is all about action. It's about the tools. 3 concrete steps you can take to start dismantling manipulation and taking back your power, like today. Okay, here they are, your 3 core actions. Number 1, name the tactic. When you see it, you call it out, even if it's just to yourself. Guilt tripping, love bombing, whatever it is. Just remember, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Number 2, practice the pause. Time is your single greatest ally against pressure. And number 3, deploy the no. It's a complete sentence. It doesn't need an explanation or an apology. Let's dig into that pause for a second, because it is an absolute game changer. See, manipulators use urgency like a weapon. They need an answer right now. Your defense is so simple. I'll think about it. That one little phrase creates space, it disarms their entire attack, and it puts you back in control of the timeline. And we have to totally reframe how we think about the word no. Stop seeing it as a confrontation. Start seeing it as an act of sovereignty. Your no is a nation. It defines your personal territory, and saying it isn't an act of aggression. It's just you defending your own borders. But look, all the best strategies in the world don't mean much if we don't handle the battle happening inside our own heads. So this section is all about winning your inner war. It's about rewriting that internal script full of self-doubt and guilt that manipulators love to plant. Does this look familiar? That late-night Google search? That constant, nagging question in your head? Am I overreacting? Wait, am I the problem here? This confusion, this self-blame,
This is exactly what manipulation is designed to create. Their goal is to make you question your own reality. Okay, now imagine you change that search. You pivot. You stop asking, am I the problem? And you start asking, how do I become ungovernable? The moment you ask that new question, you've already started to win. And a big part of getting there means connecting with something the psychologist Carl Jung called the shadow. Really, it's just all the parts of yourself you were taught to push down, your anger, your need for space, your refusal to always be the bigger person. Letting that part of you speak isn't about becoming toxic. It's about becoming whole. It's your real, authentic self finally demanding to be heard. And look, this part requires some real compassion for yourself. You have to forgive that inner child who learned that the only way to survive was to comply. That strategy kept you safe back then. So honor that kid. Hold their hand. But it's time to stop letting them drive. You're an adult now. You have new tools. It's time for your empowered self to take the wheel.
So let's bring it all home. Our final section, reclaiming your sovereignty. We are moving from defense to offense. This isn't about pushing back anymore. This is about making a declaration. This is your personal declaration of independence. Here's the first declaration. Say it with me and mean it. I am not a savior. It is not your job to fix their brokenness. Their potential is not your project to manage. Second, I am not a crisis hotline. Your energy is precious and it is finite. It is not available 24/7 for their manufactured drama and their emergencies. You decide when you're open for business. And the final, most powerful declaration, I am not an apology. You will no longer apologize for existing, for taking up space, for having needs, for enforcing your own boundaries. Your presence is not an inconvenience. And in the end, it all comes down to this one simple truth. This isn't a question. It's not a hope. It is a choice, a vow. I choose my peace over their fear, over their drama, their expectations, their noise. That choice, that is the end of their game, and it is the beginning of your freedom.